In this video, we'll be seeing how to authenticate requests using JWT. JWT actually stands for JSON Web Token and it's quite popular. So let's get started. First, we will be creating a folder called JWT auth and we'll be going into that folder. Okay, so I want to do npm init. I'll just initialize the npm packet coming. And I want to install three things. One is Express, JSON Web Token, and NodeJS. We'll be using Express to hit the routes for login and creating tokens and so on. And this video in this video we'll be actually doing creating two tokens, which is access token and the refresh token. So the difference between that is that we'll use the refresh token to create access token whenever it expires, and whenever the refresh token expires, we'll be creating a new. We will be actually making the user login again. So why we are doing that instead of just taking in one token is that if any hacker or any vulnerability occurs for the access token, then the maximum time he gets to use the token is going to be around 10 minutes, because we'll be setting the expiry in 10 minutes. So that's the reason we'll be whenever it expires, it will generate another access token which is completely different, and it will be so hard for him. So it's just security purposes, and this is also good practice. So we have installed this, and let's create an index.js file. And as usual, we'll be requiring Express, and we'll be needing app. I also want this to listen in port 3000. Yeah, so let's start the server here. Let's go into JWT auth. Let's start the server using NodeJS. Okay, the server has started. So now what I want to do is I want to create a login route. What this login route is going to take is it's going to take an let me show you. Let's say /login request address. So what this login route is going to take is it's going to take user from the body. So the client will be sending us the user details, and what I want to do is I want to create a token for this. So first thing I want to do is I want to check if this user is empty or not. If there is no user, if the user is null, then I will be sending him the 403 response, or 403 response. So let's say status of 404 because it's not found, and the message will be body empty. So that's the first check. And next what I want to do is I want to create an access token and a refresh token. So we'll be using this user body to create an access token and also a refresh token. So let's say let access token is equals to, now we'll be needing the JWT library, so let's import that. So JWT will be required JSON Web Token. So the access token will be JWT.sign, and this will take the payload as a first parameter, which is user in our case, and it also takes the secret key. So for now we can use access for access keys and refresh for refresh keys. And I want to also set expiry in. As I have said, I want to expire this in just we can say actually 10 minutes or so, but for this video purpose I would just say 15 or 20 seconds. So that's the access token. We'll have the access token there, and another thing I want is the refresh token. So let's say refresh token is equals to JWT.sign, and this again I want to sign the same user. I don't want to differentiate any payload here, but instead of access here I want to say refresh. So the secret key is changing, so the token will be completely different. And I want this to expiry in maybe 7 days. So that's a long time compared to this access token. So that's, and now we'll have, I want to send this as a written response. So let's say if everything goes well, I'll be sending 201 status, which is success, and I'll be sending my access token and refresh token as well. So let's try this. We'll try sending a request to this. So it's a /login route and it's a post route, and as a body I want to send user. Is visible? Yeah. And let's say my name will be, and I'll be sending an ID, which is, let's say 1. Okay, let's send this. Okay, okay. So the problem is that we are not using any body parsers to pass the JSON, so we have forgot to put this express.json. So that's what made this. So now let's try sending this. Okay, another error is that we have forgot to put, this is expiration, we have put expiry in. So hope all goes well now. Okay, so we are getting our access and refresh token back. Now we'll be using this access token for 20 seconds to log in. Okay, and we'll be using this refresh token to create a new access token. So we'll be seeing how we're going to do that. So I want to create, so let's create a new route, which is a protected route. And what I want to do is, I want to allow the user to go into this route only if he is authenticated. Okay, so usually, let's say, normally we'll be doing this callback function, and it will be rest.send inside protector route. But right now it is not protected because there's nothing protecting the route. So I want to add a middleware. Let's call it auth, which are not defined yet. We'll be doing that in a minute. And this auth will be checking if the user is authenticated or not. So let's define that. Let's create a function auth. So this function this function is actually a middleware which tells the user is authenticated or not. So first thing I want to do now is I want to grab the authorization token from the client. So usually the headers can be accessed using request.headers. Okay, so and I want to store the authorization token. Let's say token is equals to request.headers of authorization. And what I want to do is, let's say I want to say token is equals to token dot split at the space and take the second element. So what is this doing? This is checking if this is actually verifying if the token is valid. This is actually grabbing the token from the header. So let's see why. Usually the token format goes like this. It will be bearer and then some big token here, right? So what you're doing is we're splitting at this space. So this becomes an array like this. So this becomes an array, and in this array I want to take the first element, which is this. So we'll be getting our token here, right? So now we have got the token here, and we can also check if there is no token, then we can send another 403 response. So that's there. But what I want to do mainly is that verify the token. So this is an access token, right? So this is an access token. So now we can use JWT.verify whenever we want to verify something using JWT, we'll use .verify of the JWT class. And what I want to verify is, I want to verify the token, and the next thing is the secret. So we have, if you see here, we have been using the access as a secret key for access tokens. So actually it has to be protected in the environment variables, but right now it's okay. And the third one is we'll be getting an error and an user. Okay, so if there is no error, right, then I want to say request.user is equals to user, and I also want to send next. Else I want to just return an JSON with a message user not authenticated. Maybe a status with this 403. So we can see that what we're doing here is we get an error and an user with this callback, and if there is no error, I want to store this user in our request and then send and then call the next middleware. So what this next does is that this has been finished, so go to the next one. Okay, it will be sending this to the next middleware. If some error has occurred, it means that this verified token is not valid. So then we'll be just cutting it right here, and we'll be not allowing the request to go further, and we'll be just sending back the response saying the user is not authenticated. So this comes with 3 parameters, similar to what any root will be getting: request, response, and next. So this is our auth middleware, and this will be checking for this. So let's actually use it now. Let's see if it's working or not. So I'll send an log request here to login, and we'll grab the access token here, and then I want to send this as a header. It's a bearer, and the token. Let's try this. So you can see that it's inside the protected row, and if we try that again, it'll be saying user not authenticated. It's because we have set the expiry for 20 seconds here. You can see we have set the expiry for 20 seconds, so in 20 seconds it will be expiring again. So the attacker, if he tries to attack our token, he'll be having only 20 seconds before the token is revoked. So after every revoke, we don't want the user to log in again and again, right? We want to persist the session. So what we want to do is, whenever instead of making the user log in again and again, we will be generating an access token using this refresh token. So let's see how that is done. So we'll be creating a new root. So let's say renew access token, and that's unusual request address. And now what I want to do is I want to grab actually this is a post request, so we'll be sending our refresh token as a with the body. So let's say refresh token is equals to request.body.refresh token, or maybe token. Okay, so we have the refresh token, and what if we can actually check if there is no refresh token, then send a response saying with a message of user not authenticated. Let us actually send a status which is 403. Okay, so that is the case of if there is no refresh token. So if there is some refresh token, we want to verify that. Similarly, so we'll say again JWT.verify and verify the refresh token. And for refresh token, you know that the key is refresh here, and what will be getting an error and user, similarly to what we have done before. And if there is no error, I want to do something, and if there is some error, I want to just break the response here, and I want to say the same. I will just copy this. So if there is no error, I want to create a new access token. So let's say access token is equals to JWT.sign, let's say user, and the user, and the key will be access, and it will be expires in, let's say 20 seconds again, right? Okay, so I will just return the access token here. Okay, so this is the route what we are expecting, and there's a new problem here. So what's the problem is that even if the user is trying to send some anonymous tokens here, so then there is a danger of being verified, and even if he gets access to some tokens and it's not in our list, then it's quite dangerous that the attacker might have access to all our protected routes. So what we want to do is, I want to create a list here. So let's say refresh tokens, it is an empty array at first, and whenever I create a refresh token, which is here, whenever we create a refresh tokens, I want to push that into the refresh tokens. So I'll just push that into a refresh token. So I'm pushing that into the refresh tokens array, and whenever I'm renewing the access token, I want to check if this is also present in the, if the refresh token is also present in the refresh token array. So you can say refresh tokens dot includes refresh token. So what this means is that if we have a not here, so if this refresh token is not present in that refresh tokens array, then this is some anonymous request and we don't want to authenticate the user right here. Okay, so let's try sending that a request to this login first, and here is the access token, and is a protected route, and we'll send this with the header, paste that and send, and inside the protected route, still inside, it's actually valid for 20 seconds, it must be forbidden by okay. The user is not authenticated. What I want to do now is I want to go here, I want to grab this refresh token, and I want to send this as a token here. Okay, and I want to send this to /renew access token. So let's see what comes out. So the problem is that the user actually has an expiry property, so it's not allowing us to put expires in property as well with it. So what we can do is we can just destructure this using so we can just grab the details that only we need. So we can say user.name, and just it will just ignore the exp property which is coming with this user. So now we can put the expiration property, which is what we need, which is 20 seconds, and now we can use it to revoke the token. Okay, now let's send a login request with this body. Oops. So get the access token. What I want is I want the refresh token, because I want to create a new access token if it's working or not. So I will go to renew. Oh, let's actually do that here. Let's go to renew access token, and what I want to do is I want to send the token as the body, which will be our refresh token. So now I can send this, and I get the access token back, and I grab that, and we can go into the protected route, and we can send that as a header, and you can see it's inside the protected route, and we'll have now 20 seconds to before this is expired, and you can see it's expired. So Yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and if you have any queries, just leave it in the comments below. Thank you.